Well, the NBA season is in full swing, and though the league is more star-driven than ever, it is still possible for undrafted players to make it at the biggest stage.
And though it may not be as historically well known as the minor leagues in baseball, the NBA's G League has a following of its own and can turn long shots into NBA regulars. Joining us now is the Brooklyn-based sports writer and author Alex Squadron, whose book Life in the G is a result of following the New Orleans Pelicans G League team in Birmingham, Alabama for a full season. The book just as much about dedication, hard work, triumph, and heartbreak as it is about basketball. And Alex, thanks so much for joining us. So you followed 4 players in particular, right, the most closely on that team. What'd you learn from that experience?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Yeah, what I learned is that, you know, the talent level in the G League is so high, and you just basically have to be close to perfect to make it to the NBA because, you know, the margin for error is just so thin because there's so many guys who are competing for such limited spots. And so these 4 guys that I followed are, you know, incredible basketball players. They're NBA caliber players, but sometimes it's just there's not enough spots. And so when you're in the G League, you really can't afford to make mistakes. And yeah, you got to be as close to perfect as possible.
As Doug just said in the intro, we really don't know as much about the G League as like the baseball minors. Why did you want to write this book?
Well, that was definitely like one of the inspirations. I feel like there's so many books out there about minor league baseball, and you know, it's a similar experience for guys in the minors of basketball where they're obviously making much less money, flying commercial, staying in, you know, not the greatest hotels, and you know, they're pursuing their dreams and kind of grinding and clawing to try to get to the NBA, and you know, just like in minor league baseball with the MLB. So for me, I wanted to tell that story, and I thought that that was a, you know, compelling and inspirational story, and no one had done it for the G League. So I just felt like, you know, the timing was right to have this book.
And you mentioned less money, flying commercial. You used to write for the New York Post as a sports reporter, so you've covered the rich and famous, and you've covered G Leaguers just trying to make it.
Right.
How similar or different are those 2 types of personalities?
Well, in terms of the players, you know, I think it's not that much different, but the experience is so different. You know, what's crazy is the G League is one step away from the NBA, but, you know, following both leagues, it really doesn't seem like one step away. You know, it seems like a whole different world. You know, this is not the glitz and glamour, the $1 million contracts, the flying private. This is, you know, these guys are facing a lot of really tough obstacles, and, you know, making in the season that I was following the team less than $40,000 for the season. Yeah, you know, they're one great game or, you know, a string of good games away from that experience, from that jump. So. And
the year that you followed them was during COVID, so a lot more of the guys were brought up into the NBA than typically, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously something I did not foresee, but the season that I was there was a season of Omicron. And if you can remember back to that time, like, NBA teams were completely decimated. You know, they'd be full roster and then down 7 players a day later because Omicron was spreading so rapidly. So obviously they turned to the G League for relief, and it turned into this record-breaking year for minor league basketball with over 100 players getting called up. The previous high was like 50. So this became kind of the heart of the book, and obviously did not see that coming.
Of the 4 guys that you were following so closely, have any of them made it? Did any of them definitely not make it and have left the G League entirely? What's the spectrum there?
Oh boy, well, spoilers, I guess. But
yeah, well, I don't.
Don't give it away. You don't have to give it away.
But no, I think that there's the thing about the G League is there's such a range. I mean, these guys have, you know, such different journeys, and I will say that I got very lucky in that everybody kind of ended up in different places. Some made it, some didn't make it, some overseas, some sticking it out in the G League, and so you kind of get to see the full range of. You know, you do get to see guys make it to the NBA and what that transition looks like, and also, you know, guys who you know, didn't get so lucky. So it has a little bit of everything, I think.
It's like a docuseries where you're trying not to Google. So you start reading the book, you see the names.
Right. I totally understand that you can just Google it and find out in a second.
If you're interested in the book, maybe you don't.
And like you said, it's such a journey, and the heartbreak and the triumph and everything. And so congratulations on the work.
Thank you so much.
And
I really
cool idea. And like you said, it hadn't been done before. So it's great stuff, and we appreciate being able to show off a local talent like yourself. So thanks for coming on. And Life in the G is available online on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Check it out, and we'll be right back.